Nick, he's a force of nature, isn't he?
Absolutely.
He makes me energised and exhausted at the same time just listening to him.
First thing in the morning as well. That's what you need, a bit of Nick.
Yes, that's right. Ah!
What a guy.
Yeah, do you think he ever has a sort of moment where he just goes, I'm just going to sit and watch the telly? I bet he doesn't.
And then he's like a Duracell bunny for the rest of the week.
Absolutely.
Julie Scantlebury. BBC Radio Cornwall.
Let's see now if we can speak to Nick Corsten from Steamco on another mission to Cornwall to try and inspire young people through art and making stuff. What's your current mission in Cornwall?
Oh my goodness, I had plans to end the summer the way I started it. We kicked it off at the Great Estate Festival down at Scoria House, which is amazing. And I've been all over the country since, Yorkshire, Shropshire, all over. And today we've landed Starship 22. I'm flying around the country in a Starship, as you know, and we've got a bit of a problem because the clutch has gone on Starship 22, so the whole thing's up in the air at the moment.
It's not often a space mission is actually brought to its knees by a clutch failure, but yeah, we hope Starship, your camper van, is back on the road very soon. What are you going to be doing in the schools with the kids?
Well, basically, I'm just a dad, so no tricky questions, please, Julie. I'm a dad on a mission to inspire 1 million kids to aim higher than my hive is. And if you've seen my hive, it's covered in sequins, you'll know that's pretty high. And basically, I go into schools to inspire kids to find their passion in life. I call it their art, which could be anything: painting, photography, cooking, coding, making things from cardboard, dancing, design, DJing, robots, rockets, racing cars, any of those things. It's about finding that passion that every kid's got and nurturing it, helping the community connect with those kids, supporting parents and working with teachers. So I do all school assemblies, we do creative workshops, and at the end of the day, we launch a dynamite rocket in the school to inspire those kids to aim high. And then we have a little video and it looks just starships taken off in their playground. So yeah, we've had quite an adventurous time.
You've got well, I'd like to call it an oil rig. It's not. It's a cardboard drilling rig for something else this time around.
Well, that's right. It's not an oil rig, actually. Oil and coal were fueled the Industrial Revolution, as most people in Cornwall will very well know. We believe that our art is the coal of the creativity revolution. And I came to Land's End to launch the creativity revolution across this country, a creativity revolution our kids, our country, our communities need. And yeah, we've got this art rig. We call it #Our Sea Monster, and that's sea with an S-E-E monster. And basically, it looks like an old oil rig, but it's actually made out of cardboard tubes, it's made out of computer code, and it's made with our creativity. Because what we do is we build it with the kids at festivals. We're going to be doing it at Little Orchard Festival this weekend if we get down there. And then what we do is, with a little bit of jiggery pokery, we've got a live streaming studio in the back of our Starship camper van. We make it look as if we've actually built this 100-metre tall cardboard Our Sea Monster. And you've got to see it to believe that. There's videos of us at festivals in Devon, at Gone Wild, at Lakefest in Herefordshire. I've spent 9 weekends at festivals this summer building Our Sea Monster. So yeah, people can see that if they look for #Our Sea Monster.
Actually, another interesting Cornish connection. You mentioned there very briefly, touched on love of motor racing. You had a big score, didn't you, with the McLaren team, who actually allowed you to run a competition to take a family there?
Well, it was, you can't make this up, Julie. It was incredible. Basically, one of McLaren's sponsors, an American technology firm called Smartsheet, they take their logo off the McLaren car every once in a while. They've done it in Australia with an organisation who works with indigenous populations, teaching them science, an organisation in America that teaches urban kids about technology. And this year they came to the British Grand Prix, and they came to us at Steamco and decided to put the Steamco logo on the front of the McLaren racing cars for the British Grand Prix. They made a film about our work in Shropshire, in Cornwall, Yorkshire. And amazingly, we actually took a family from Penryn. Dion and his family came up from Penryn. He's an environmental consultant. He came up from Penryn to the McLaren Technical Centre and saw where they actually build McLaren cars, and they met Lando Norris, their superstar driver. And then they all came up with families from Yorkshire and Shropshire. They came to the Grand Prix and were actually in the pits with Lando Norris and the whole engineering team. And we actually made paper rockets with Lando Norris's race engineer. I mean, I have to pinch myself to see if I've had this summer, really, because it's just been great. But the important thing is, it's not just about the lucky families that came, because we had about 20 or 30 families from Redruth and Campbell reply to an ad on Facebook who were all keen to come. The challenge now is how do we amplify that? How do we use that to inspire not just the kids, not just the teachers, but the whole community to come together to help us ignite this creativity revolution?
Do you worry about schools having time within their increasingly busy timetables to actually freestyle and do this stuff?
It's a very good point. You can't get a Rizzler between subjects in many school curriculums now. It's so packed. There's a big focus, understandably, on literacy and numeracy, and I think we had a chat in January about the maths plans that the Prime Minister had. Budgets are obviously very tight, particularly now with this awful problem that's come to light with the RAC. But at the end of the day, creativity is as important as literacy, as a chap called Sir Ken Robinson said on his #1 TED Talk. And this is really, really important for our kids. You know, if we need the engineers, the innovators, the creatives, the scientists, the mathematicians, we cannot give up on our kids and focus all our energy on rebuilding their schools. And that's what we talk about. We're trying to we actually launched the Our Million 23 appeal to raise £1 million to inspire 1 million kids by getting 23 nutcases like me, Steamsters we call them, and little trucks on the road that can go into schools for free. Because schools don't have money for this, but I believe that there are people in Cornwall, I believe there are people across the country who know that this is important, and I'm hoping they'll help us get 20 of these people on the road, like me, going into schools, going into community settings like fetes and festivals like the Little Orchard this weekend. So that's really the big master plan. It looks a bit crazy, but there is method in my madness, Julia, so I hope you can see.
Well, there's method in your madness, certainly. Fingers crossed that you get Starship's clutch sorted, because I guess that's a fly in the creative ointment.
Well, I've had a bit of a ring round, and it seems that just about every garage in Cornwall is absolutely stacked. To be honest with you, Julie, I'm not going to let this lie. I need to be at the Little Orchard Festival this year. I was there last year, and I've looked at the lineup, and Ben's invited me down again. It looks like the best ever. They've got Ocean Colour Scene, they've got Republic, they've got Hayseed Dixie, they've got the Wurzels. If that's not something for everybody, I don't know what is. But I don't know how many festivals you've been to, but it's not about the main stage for me. It's about the off-main stage. They've got the most wicked silent disco. And I'll tell you one thing, there's nothing silent or disco about silent discos. It's just a bunch of people singing in an orchard with lasers. They've got this amazing thing, Grandma's Funky Wardrobe, which is a secret little spot where you can come and have a bit of a dance. I'd love to see you on the dance floor there, Julie. And he's just told me, actually, they've got a few tickets left. They've nearly sold out. But I'll tell you what better way to end your summer, our summer, my summer, than dancing under the stars at Little Orchard. I can't wait. I'm determined to get there. So do you know what? If somebody can tow me to Little Orchard Festival, I worry about getting back to base camp on Monday morning, because I'm not going home yet. Don't you worry. The sun's shining for all of us, Julie. We're not giving up.
Nick, it's lovely to hear your enthusiasm as ever. Good to speak to you, and I hope it all sorts itself out or gets sorted.
Nothing without your support, Julie. BBC Local Radio, helping people like me, communities really make a difference. And, you know, we've got your back, and I'm so grateful for your support and amplification. If anybody's got a tow truck, give me a ring now, Steamco. Thanks so much, Nick Corsten there, who is a force of nature, but not sufficiently a force of nature to tow his own camper van. If you know anybody who can give him a hand and you want to be put in touch, just give us a call here on the usual number and we will give you Nick's number. Nick, he's a force of nature, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
He makes me energised and exhausted at the same time just listening to him.
First thing in the morning as well. That's what you need, a bit of Nick.
Yes, that's right. Ah.
I remember when he came into the studio with all his props and stuff, and it was, what a guy.
Yeah, do you think he ever has a sort of moment where he just goes, I'm just going to sit and watch the telly? I bet he doesn't.
I reckon on Sundays he just sits down, watches the Grand Prix, and doesn't move. Doesn't move. He has to.
Recharges.
Yeah, recharges.
But then to go crazy
and then he's like a Duracell bunny for the rest of the week.
Absolutely.
And other batteries are, also
course.
have their own fine qualities. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because I'm not hyper like Nick. But there is a part of me that, kind of, because I'm trying to work out how to live my new single life, I kind of I get really, really busy to distract myself.
Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds whisper. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds. Don't you know,